broke it again. So as you all know, I just did a whole bunch of work to this car over the winter to get the rust repaired done, and I did a bunch of work on the engine and did a manual swap. But I already broke it. So ever since I did all the work, the car has never really been 100%. And I mean that because the voltage gauge was being very odd. Like it would start out at like 14, like normal, but then it would drop to 11 and it would just bounce around all the time, be really inconsistent. So I was looking around for some like loose grounds or anything, and on my alternator down here, this connection right here, you can kind of see it. The whole thing is loose. Yeah, I found that and I tried to take off the nut to fix it, and the entire stud is rotating inside the alternator, so that just makes it 10 times worse, and I was not able to get that off. And then also, while trying to eat, I couldn't even get that nut off. I also ripped the terminal right off of the wire, so that was just great. So I went ahead, bought another new alternator because I've replaced that one before. So I got another AC Delco alternator. I'm gonna have to replace that guy with another brand new one, and we should be on our merry way. So if you guys have never replaced a Fiero alternator before, it's really not that bad, but it's also not really that fun either. The alternator is tucked all the way down there in the bottom of the engine bay, and it's basically impossible to take it out that way. So you have to go through the bottom, and you can see it up in there. It's just a lot easier to take it out through the bottom. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take off the tie rod right here. I've heard it both ways, where you don't have to and where you do. I'm just going to, because my strut, with being shorter, pushes this whole brake assembly up a lot higher, and you know, I have a pretty good access here, but if I was able to move this tie rod right out of the way, I would have a big hole right here. I'd be able to slide the alternator out. So I'm just gonna take the tie rod off. It's gonna be quick, and it's just gonna make the job a lot easier. And what we're gonna do next is go and take off this this bolt right here. This is what basically tensions your entire belt drive. You could mark it so you know exactly where to go, but mine's basically all the way at the edge, so it shouldn't be that bad to remember. So you can kind of see up here, I have that off. The alternator now can just move freely. So, you know, I can just take the belt right off of it like that. Now the belt's just free in there. Now I have to take off this connection right here. And then the only thing left is there's a bolt that's on top that is right there. So I'm gonna take this little connection off the bottom first, and then we gotta take off that bolt. Oh boy. Just like that. So there's that. You can see here, I'm gonna have to put a new ring terminal on this, because I just ripped that one right off when I was trying to take off that bolt. Now the very last thing to take off is that bolt, which is a 15 millimeter right on the top. These can be kind of stuck sometimes. Mine looks like it is very loose, so that's probably not the greatest, but makes it easier to take out, and then the whole alternator should just come right out the bottom. It's about to come out, and the alternator might just fall right out, so you might hear a loud bang. Holy crap. Just like that. I guess taking out the alternator is very easy because it just falls right out. You can really see the whole stud just moves. I heard that you can take the actual alternator apart, but I didn't really want to mess with that. The only thing I have to do is I have to replace this pulley. I don't know if you can leave this one on there and have no issues. You probably can, but this is just a 5-rib one, and the original Fiero one is a 4-rib. So just to help it out, I'm going to replace this. It should be pretty easy. When I replaced the alternator originally, I took this one off of my original alternator and put it on this one. So I'm just going to put it on this one as well. So my impact is charging. So while we wait for that to charge, why don't we put on our new ring terminal. I got one that fits right on there. What I'm gonna have to do is just cut off what's left of this one in here and then just crimp on the new one, I think. To take this guy off, I'm going to use this 24 millimeter socket. Fits on there nice and tight, and then I think I'll be able to just hit it with this impact, and I'll have to hold on with this fan thing. I don't know how easy it'll be, but I'm gonna try it and you'll see. like that. There it is. This one comes right off. First I gotta put this guy on, like that. And I got this. And then we have a lock washer, which these look to be the same, so I'll use the new one. And so let's see, is this, so I'll use the new nut as well. I'm gonna put some Loctite on here just to be safe. Just a bit. Now I'll put this guy on. All right, pulley's on the alternator. I also went ahead and I got a new ring terminal in here. You can kind of see it. I have that crimped on. So it's time to put this alternator into the car and see if we fix our problem. So sliding the alternator in here, just like that. It's still a pretty tight fit, but it does go in. Mine is pretty difficult, but I'm gonna slide it in there and then I'm gonna go underneath, try and get this bolt in, and we'll go from there. Last time I replaced the alternator on this car, it was an automatic. I didn't really realize on the manuals, you have a whole bunch of space right here between the cradle and just up. So I ended up just putting the alternator up through the bottom here, and I was able to get it in place. And I have that the top bolt just in there loose. So now I have the alternator just sitting there. So now I'll be able to tighten it in and I'll get that belt tensioned. Now, tensioning the alternator can be kind of difficult, especially when you're doing it alone. What I like to do is take a pry bar, just right here. It goes down under against the block and the alternator itself. And then I just pull it back and you can get some tension and you're able to tighten that bolt up. Yeah, this is tight enough. This should be good. Now we just gotta hook these things back up and we'll be all done. So I'm gonna take off the ring terminal. I'm gonna take this guy, just push that back in, just like that. And then the ring terminal just goes on like this. I got the boot back over the positive terminal. I got this thing plugged in, so that means this alternator is completely installed. All right, let's see if it even starts. Looks good so far. Okay, well, I'm not able to go and test drive this car right now, unfortunately, because when I started it the first time, I was letting it run, but my air compressor wasn't turning on, and that was because the relay, the connector that goes into the relay, it burned up right here, as you can see. The whole pin right here burned right up. And I had to go and rewire a new plug onto that, which of course wasn't the easiest and took a bit of time. And now, when you look outside, now it's snowing outside. So I can't really go and drive this because I don't want to drive it in the snow. I did have the car running for about 5 minutes and the voltage gauge was just all the way up. It did not fluctuate at all like it did before. So I think that the alternator solved our issue, but I'm going to keep an eye on it while I'm driving and I'll have to do an update on it. Another thing, especially for Fiero owners, you need to make sure that you check this little heater resistor box that's down in here. That guy right there. You should make sure to check that yearly. I cleaned mine out last year and I just had to clean it out again because there was a mouse nest, which is great. Especially for Fiero owners, you need to make sure that you clean those out because that heater resistor gets hot. If you have stuff in there, it can catch on fire and then you have a fire inside your whole heater box and your car could burn down. So that's obviously not good. So just one more thing to check before you get your car out for the summer season. But I'm gonna wrap up the video here. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I'll keep an eye on that voltage gauge and make sure that the alternator fixed our issue. Hopefully this taught you guys how to do an alternator if you have to. Maybe won't scare you away because it's really not that bad of a process. And you saw it didn't really take us a lot of time to do either. So thank you guys for hanging out and watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. See you later.